Welcome to the HuntFishTravel Podcast. I am your hostess, Carrie Z. We are talking sturgeon spearing. We are kicking off 2025 with a very exciting guest. I randomly came across Eric Schmidt while I was looking for sturgeon spearing stuff, because you guys know it's that time where I just fill up your feed and I spam you all with sturgeon stuff. Well, Eric Schmidt is the recording secretary. He's an officer on the board for the Northern Half chapter for the Sturgeon for Tomorrow, the Wisconsin, because we don't talk about the Michigan folks, remember? We only talk about the Wisconsin folks. So, Eric, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I always have to correct myself because I'm always like, we're the only place that you can spear sturgeon. And then there's like that one guy in the back. Shut up! Nobody cares. Lake Winnebago is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they get like a 3-hour season if they're lucky.
Literally, they get like 5 tags. Nobody cares. Like, we're the cool kids down here. Well, welcome to the show. I did come across you kind of randomly because I was looking at the Sturgeon for Tomorrow banquet I attended for the first time last year up at Waverly Beach. Mind blown. The banquet was incredible. Just amazing. It was one of the best banquets I think I've ever attended, honestly. I had such a wonderful time. Sat with the best people. Went home with stuff, which I never win anything. So that was great. I mean, ever. Literally. So why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about Sturgeon for Tomorrow and what you do for them? Let's start there.
Well, let's start with the Northern Half chapter, which I've been involved with for 38 years. So my dad took me to the banquet when I was 14, old enough to spear. So I've been a member ever since then. I joined the board of directors 5 years ago. And the next year, lo and behold, somebody had become the recording secretary, and it was me. So, and I'm not good at taking notes at all, but don't ever try to read my shorthand, but it's painful 2 days later when I decipher it. The Northern Half chapter was founded in 1982 by Wayne Engel, Steve Caro, Don Peterson, Don Milkey, Arlene Holman, and Tom Burr, and Bob Schrader, I believe, were the original founding members. They started it in December, and they had a banquet in February. So don't know how many people attended the banquet, but they were on the ball. So, you know, Sturgeon for Tomorrow, we have 5 chapters: the Northern Half chapter, the Upriver Lakes, the main chapter, the Southwest chapter, and the West chapter. So all around the lake, we work together, but we work separate. We all have our own banquets. We all do our own banquets. We meet 2 to 3 times a year as a group, all chapters, where we talk about, usually there's somebody from the DNR there. Usually they have some type of proposal that they want us to help fund. They have limited budgets. So our fundraisers are our banquets. And with that, they come to us and ask, can you help us out with this? So last year in general, a couple of things that we helped with was they rebuilt a section of the Wolf River by 151 Highway north of Shiocton that they redid for the spawning grounds. So we helped pay for all the riprap for that. We helped work with Shadows of the Wolf, redoing the whole trail system in New London along the highway there for the spawning area. And then we also funded the new radio tags for tracking the sturgeon. So don't remember all the particulars, but the old tags had a 10-year lifespan. The new tags that are about $1,000 a piece have a 20-year lifespan. And the DNR's goal was to re-tag at least half of the fish that had a tag in it. So when it's said and done, they're going to have data from one fish for 30 years. They can track all their movements, see where they're going to spawn, feeding areas, what they do, you know, to better understand them and learn about more areas we need to work on restoring habitat.
Lake Winnebago is such an interesting lake. It's huge. It is. I believe it's like I think it's the largest inland lake in Wisconsin. I mean, it's just massive, and people
the
just
largest
don't even understand.
Freshwater lake in the country.
Is it? Oh my God.
Yes, outside of the Great Lakes.
I didn't even know that. That's bananas. It's just massive. Like when you get onto it, and like my little 17-foot smoker craft, sometimes when we get out there, and I'm like, and the wind kicks up, and you're like, it's
time to run for shore.
can be a little sketchy out there, right? But
Yep.
it's such an interesting ecosystem unto itself, though, really. There's just such a culture around this particular body of water
Oh,
that,
yes.
in my opinion, is just second to none. Because you take sturgeon spearing, which is a 2 week season, and you have this entire culture that is built around this one bottom feeding, really ugly species that most of us have never even speared. I mean, the success rate is like 13% or something dumb. It's ridiculous. But we still all go out there and we still all get our tags and we
Oh,
still
yes.
go every year, right? But it's just because I think it embodies more than just spearing a fish. And without organizations like Sturgeon for Tomorrow, I think a lot of that would have been lost. A lot of the culture would be lost, a lot of history, a lot of the historical data, just a lot of the science. And I just can't thank you guys enough for what you do. I'm on 2 different boards and I understand the amount of thankless work and the thankless hours that you put into something, volunteer hours, not paid hours, volunteer hours because of something that you're just really passionate about and love to do. So I just can't thank you guys enough because anybody will tell you I don't shut up about sturgeon spearing come like December 1st through March 1st. I
That's
even
great.
own like sturgeon. I think it's sturgeonspearing.com. I don't do anything with it. I had these grand plans and then I just do nothing with it. But someday maybe I will. I don't know.
Well, when you say that, I think in being from the valley, born and raised, my dad had me out in the ice shanty at 5 years old. He didn't have a babysitter, so my brother and I were out in the ice shanty sturgeon spearing at 5 years old from sun up to sundown back then. There was no 6-hour season.
Right.
But you're introduced to it, and it's not just Sturgeon for Tomorrow. Back then there wasn't. Sturgeon for Tomorrow was just getting started back in the late 70s. I actually found some of the original minutes when I was digging through everything I had here to get a little bit of information background so I didn't make a mistake saying anything. And it was the guys that founded it, Danny Greschel, Bill Casper, those guys were worried because the sturgeon population was nosediving. And the first meeting, I mean, they had 4 or 5 people that sat down and they met with the DNR, with Dan Fouts. I didn't recognize any other names in there, but there were 5 and 5 people from Sturgeon for Tomorrow, 5 people from the DNR, and sat down and discussed what they could do, how they could work together, to make sure the sturgeon population continued to grow. So, I mean, that was the whole precedence behind Sturgeon for Tomorrow, was just some concerned people. And then the fact that you have, like you said, the whole lake, I mean, the whole system is built around this, as far as tourism, as far as all your fishing clubs. When Sturgeon for Tomorrow, when I was a little kid getting started, my dad was a president of Paynes Point Hook and Spear Club at the time. So we were out there plowing roads, doing all that, which Paynes Point's still a huge, huge part of the spearing tradition, to go along with the guys down at Otter Street, Lower Cliffs, Fire Lane 8, Lake Park, and all the way around the lake. There's tons and tons of those little clubs that, is how we all get out there and do everything. Mm-hmm. And yet everybody donates, everybody goes to their, fisheries, they go to their raffles. And that's what really makes it so unique.
I remember the first time I take it back. I think I told you the first time I was introduced to sturgeon spearing was with the Women on Winnebago event with Fond du Lac Area Visitors Bureau. But that's not technically true because the year before that, they came across me when they were putting together that event, because the year before that, it was that weekend, I was just looking for something to do as an outdoor writer. And I came across the sturgeon spearing stuff. And I think I took a drive. I was living in Slinger at the time, and I took a drive out. And I can't remember if it was Stockbridge or Pipe, but I remember going out there. I didn't know anybody. I just went out there by myself. And there were all these people with all these big ass ugly fish waiting to get weighed. And they were so happy. And they were drinking beer and they were chatting. And I took the best photos. And there was this one lady, and she was like, I had been spearing for 15 years. This was my first fish. And it just blew my mind that somebody had spent that many years, to finally get her fish. And she was just over the moon. And I was like, I need to learn more about this. And that was really, really the tip of the iceberg for that for me. And then when Fond du Lac got involved, and then it was just, then they had, like the Sturgeon for Tomorrow people come and talk to us with the media folks and everything. And then when the Frozen Chosen came out, the documentary,
Yep.
that was amazing. I wrote, if anybody's interested, on HuntFishTravel.com, if you search Sturgeon, just Sturgeon, I wrote a huge long article. It's called The History of the Wisconsin Lake Sturgeon. And I mean, there's a lot of articles out there, but that's the one I'm talking about. And it's literally from nuts to bolts. It is, in my opinion, the first line is one of our nation's greatest conservation story. And I truly believe that in my soul, because the amount of effort that went into bringing this particular species back, and the effort and work and money spent that these guys put into this, again, this really just ugly bottom feeding fish that nobody cared about and all the commercial fishermen just despised, is mind-blowing. So let's talk about the
something
banquets
fun.
a little bit. Yeah, let's talk. Well, it's awesome. Let's talk about the banquets, because the amount of raffles, I mean, when we walked in, it was...
Oh, and you're going to get the early bird now, because you
God.
get to know all the raffles, because I have everything written down next to me.
Right.
So our banquet
Man.
is always the first Saturday in February. So our banquet's February 1st this year. Doors open at 4:30. Raffles start at 4:30, go to 6. Dinner's at 6. We bumped it up a little earlier this year. People we had talked to, some people recommended it, being it on a Saturday, and lets people get done a little bit earlier. The banquet's again at Waverly this year. I know there are individuals.
Great.
Thank you for that, because the year before we had issues.
No, it was
we
really
went back
good
to Waverly because obviously Darboy Club closed, and then we were trying to find the right venue, and they remodeled. And if you go back in history, in the northern half of the lake, Waverly has a huge tradition in sturgeon spearing. I mean, back years ago, it was a little dive bar, and they still use it as a registration station. So people are always there looking at it. So we looked at it. There are some other options out there, but price, bang for the buck, and the fact of where they are, it worked out really well for us.
Yeah.
$45 a person. You can't go to a banquet for $45 a person. There's not another organization for that price. I will tell you that last year we barely broke even with the cost of the food, at that. So we're slowly, but as a group, all 5 chapters have to agree to raise ticket prices. So we'll slowly raise them, I'm sure, as inflation and everything else goes up, but still, it's $45 a person. Raffles, we're always trying to take it a next step up. Our biggest raffle has historically been the Pot of Gold, which is a 50-50 raffle. Last year, I believe we gave away just over $2,600 to the winner. We had years when we were maxing out at the 400 and 500 people at the Darboy Club that we broke $3,500, $3,600 a person. So everybody loves that. We don't do walk-around raffles. Our walk-around raffles is the Pot of Gold, because that's what everybody wants. They want to win that big, prize. So this year we've sat down. We've already got all our raffles picked out. We had our meeting back in December, and we agreed on all the raffles. Now we're just finalizing everything in our next meeting coming up. So we're going to have the main raffle again with a $2,000 prize on it, cash prize. We have a Milwaukee toolkit, 7-piece toolkit that was donated by my friends at Total Tool this year. That'll be on there as another prize. We have a Makita chainsaw donated by Packer Fastener, which I've never seen. It's a 36-volt battery chainsaw.
It's amazing.
We have a half-day perch trip on the Mississippi in an airboat donated by Adrenaline Angling. Adam Christensen is the owner-operator. I've gone out with him a couple times, consider him a friend. We talked, and he agreed that if I bought a trip, he'd donate a trip. So I'm holding him to that. And that's for 2 people, or any people that want to go beyond that. $200 a person, which is his going rate, can go. And then the last thing we have is we have a Summit shuttle, carbon fiber pole for the whole live scope or active target, and an amp battery from our friends at Summit and Amp. So that one's really set up this year with some really, really nice prizes. I believe tickets are going to be $20 a piece or 3 for $40 again, like we did last year.
Yeah.
We have a new raffle. So this is a winner take all, first time we've ever done this. And it is going to be the mega meat raffle.
Okay. Oh boy.
So we have
Love me a good meat raffle.
We have a gas smoker. We have a small chest freezer. We have a $1,000 gift card to Hain Meats at this point. So that's still growing. We're still out looking for some more donations, see if we can get some more stuff. Revolves around the freezer, but winner takes all, $20 a ticket. We only have 400 tickets. So when we sell out, we sell out.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's a good
one. And the guys
one.
at Hain Meats have been great to us. They donated $250 of the $1,000 for the gift card. So this is our first, like I said, our first year with this one. So we'll see. We've been changing things little and little. We got our women's raffle, so which is always works out great. This year we were fortunate that Bergstrom Auto donated a signed authentic Jordan Love jersey that will be on that raffle, as well as 2 different Michael Kors purses, one of them with a wallet. I haven't seen them yet. My daughters are shopping for them, but we'll see. Last 2 years, they've done a good job. So, and then we have a 32-inch LED TV that'll be on that raffle.
Okay.
We have our fishing raffle, which we called our auger raffle last year. So this year that has a Ion 8-inch electric auger. We have an Eskimo pistol bit in 8-inch, and then we have a 1/2-inch Milwaukee hammer drill donated by Viking Electric to go with it, so it makes it a full auger setup. We have a Markham 7-inch camera, color camera. It's sitting behind me. So back there is like all the door prizes, that huge mess. That was donated by Big E's Custom Rods, which is me.
Nice.
And then we have a pop-up ice shack. We're going to have our Sturgeon survival kit, which, is
it's like Bloody Marys.
You name it. It's a wheelbarrow full of beer, booze, soda, and snacks.
I knew it.
So, that one is, we have one secondary prize on that, which is a Milwaukee radio. We thought, well, if this is kind of about the party, let's throw the radio on it too. And
because
jam out.
How else can you listen to polka?
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
Or the Sturgeon report.
Exactly.
So we're going to have our Sturgeon poker card game, which we have all the time. Something different this year. We always sell out early on it instead of waiting to give it away at the end. We're going to get, as soon as we sell out, we're going to give it away. Put the money back in the people's hands and let them come buy some more raffle tickets.
That's awesome.
So
that's so cool.
Quick draw raffle. That one is a progressive raffle. Starts at 4:30. We sell 20 tickets. We pull a winner, winner's choice, any of the 30 prizes. Random list of prizes. I have 4 Milwaukee heated jackets that were donated this year. We probably have 7 or 8 rod and reel combinations that were donated and purchased. Tackle boxes, lithium ion knives, a dehydrator. I don't know. They're a lot and they're really, really nice. Money tree, we started last year, was our first year of the money tree. I believe you pay $5, don't quote me, and you pull an envelope off the tree. Every envelope's a winner. Could be $1, it could be $100. Could be, at random. So we started that sold out in like 30 minutes last year. So it was a big hit. Then last year we also did, instead of safes, we did wallets. So we have a wallet raffle, which is like your Ridge metal wallets. It's got the Sturgeon logo on it. And there's 5 people. We pull the names, you come up, you pick your wallet, and then you open it up, and there's 5 random either gift cards or cash in it from $250 down to $10. So it's kind of like a mystery raffle. You don't know what you got until you pick it and open it up. And then last, but of course not least, we have our kids raffle, which is the most important raffle we really have, because our future is getting the younger generation involved. All hunting and fishing, it's nose diving as far as people doing it. People aren't getting introduced to it. So we highly recommend bringing kids. Every kid wins on the raffle. Every year we have a spear donated by Dean Schrader Carpentry. We have multiple decoys donated by Randy Schrader in Menasha. He gave us a Nemo this year and a Dory. So we have the whole Finding Nemo theme going on there. And there's multiple other prizes. Shields always donates a bunch to us. Like I said, no kid ever leaves without a prize. So, and then we will have a couple random speakers. I believe we have our fish biologist from the DNR, Margaret, will be there. And I don't know if there's anybody else this year. If there may be something about Sturgeon Guard. So not sure.
Okay.
So that's our banquet in a nutshell. Not to knock away any other banquets, but we do have the other chapters all coming up right now. The Southwest, the Maine, the West. Got all those chapters, banquets are all coming up. They're all right through the month of January and March.
I'm going to look up the photos. I should, I always take so many, man, I have so many photos from last year. Last year it was on February 3rd.
Yep.
Hold on, I'm going to look up February 3rd, 2024.
We're trying to get better using our Facebook feed. So we're going to see. My daughter-in-law is one of our admins. So last year I wanted her to do a Facebook Live, and well, we didn't get there. So this year I may have to take the camera and do it. Or you can just come do it for me,
I was going to say, I might know a media gal who might, give you a hand.
More than welcome to help us with all of it.
One thing I would love is, it was really hard for me to figure out how to buy tickets. I did, I think I emailed the
first
person
year is
in the event. Yeah. And she emailed me back the form to print out and send off a check, which was, I'm not sure I'm going to do that because I don't have checks anymore. So I'm going to have to go to the bank and be like, hey, can you write me a check? Can I send
And you missed the new early bird raffle. But anybody that wants tickets to the Northern Half Chapter Banquet, you can email Cindy Peterson at sftnorthern@gmail.com. You also can give her a call at 920-205-3990. She is our banquet coordinator, and she handles all tickets. I spoke with her on my way home tonight. We are sitting at about 150 tickets left, so we're sold out right now. And the cutoff is in 2 weeks. So we're getting real close already.
Right? You only allow 400. So 100. If you only have 150 left, that means you have 250 sold already. That's crazy.
Yes. And every time everybody sees my posts out there on Facebook and social media promoting it, we usually get anywhere from 2 to 10 inquiries for new people looking at the banquet. So yeah, I'm sure everybody sees me and goes, again, but it's working. So
that's awesome. I'm going to post this. It'll probably go live tomorrow morning because I'll edit it tonight. And for the listeners listening, do you want me to include the form, or they just need to contact her?
If you have the form you can include that has all the information on it, please. Yeah. So that way they can contact her. I'm sharing it always on social media.
Okay.
So, and I've been sharing random pictures of all the cool prizes we got this year, because we have honestly the best prizes I've ever seen at one of our banquets. We just fortunate that I have some really good contacts that were very generous to us this year. So
yeah.
And I'll be honest, I mean, I've been knocking on doors and asking for donations, and a lot of businesses, hunting and fishing businesses at different shows, sports shows and that I go to, they've never heard of Sturgeon for Tomorrow. So I walked around a show recently and just introduced myself, and do you know anything about us? And the answer was not a clue. And I thought I gave myself enough time to talk to most of the vendors, and I think I got through maybe half, because you started talking and they were so interested, and you just start giving the history, and it just keeps going from there.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like I said, it's such a fascinating culture and species, and just it's an ecosystem unto itself. I will, for the listeners, for the people listening to this in audio version or watching this on YouTube, it's if you go to huntfishtravel.com/EP242, you will have access to the form. You will see photos from last year's event, because I'll post a couple that I took. We did win. Aaron, my boyfriend, won our sturgeon decoy. Every year we buy a sturgeon decoy. since we've been together. We've bought one, and then we write the year on the bottom or whatever. So last year's was the one that he won. I think it was like a door prize or something like that. And it was super cool, and it's super cute and awesome looking. And so that was very memorable.
Our goal with door prizes is we try to give away 2/3 of the tickets sold. So right now we are shooting for 260 to 275 door prizes this year.
It's amazing.
You know, people listening to this, anybody that's willing to donate, please don't be afraid to reach out. I can tell you, I track all of our prizes. We are probably 100 prizes short right now with 4 weeks to the banquet.
Yeah.
So we're still waiting for more stuff to come in. Some people are mailing issues in, and we also get a lot of stuff the night of the banquet. One of our huge sponsors is Cimarron Bar and Grill in Menasha. Those guys are great to us every year. They donate a spear normally. They donate multiple bottles of booze. So they're another great sponsor of ours. So but anybody willing to gift cards to restaurants, bars, you know, if people donate them and people don't use them, you're not out any money, you know, looking from a small business owner's perspective. So anybody willing to, though, please either reach out to Cindy. You can reach out to myself through social media. You can call me 920-636-9432. We'll meet up with you wherever it's convenient. You know, we are a 501c3 non-tax exempt company. So organization.
Neat. Very, very cool. Well, this is exciting and going to be very cool and a lot of fun. And I'm very excited.
That's good. I am too. This is the type of year I start to get excited. The shack's pulled out. Things are starting to get gone through.
I know. We've got good ice coming. Very exciting. Yes. Finally.
Cold weather. Thank you, God.
I know. Well, cool. Well, tell the listeners where they can go to find out a little more about Sturgeon for Tomorrow, the Wisconsin.
Sturgeon for Tomorrow. Wisconsin has a page, which is sturgeonfortomorrow.wi.com. Or excuse me, a website that is new. Plus, we do have a Facebook page, so you can go out on Facebook, like us there, and follow. A lot of the chapters are starting to post more about their banquets. The website is new this year, hence why we needed the WI. It is.
Okay.
So we just got it up off the ground. It's still growing. So a couple of the chapters have put the history of their chapters in there. Our goal is to get our banquets on there by next year, so that all the banquets will be listed on there, where they're being held, who to contact for tickets. So that's all in the works. So it's growing slowly.
Sure. Excellent. Well, and it's always a moving target, right? Anytime with an organization like this, you're always growing. And I joke about the Michigan one. I always make fun of them. It's the Bears versus Packers rivalry always, right?
Right.
But I mean, it'd be cool to fish out there too someday, but it's just amazing. It's just such a cool fish. And again, I can't thank you enough for all that you guys do. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys February 1st.
Well, you know where you'll find me at the Quick Draw Bank raffle until the door prizes start. And I'm the MC for door prizes. So
awesome.
I'm on the microphone all night long. You get to hear my voice.